Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today I will be flipping through my third bullet journal that spans from January through June of 2019. If you haven't seen any of my previous bullet journal flip throughs, then I'll just go ahead and recap a little bit of information from those videos. For the first couple of years of bullet journaling, then I did use the Leuchtturm A5 size dotted journals, and I would use two of them a year, one of them covering January through June, and then another one covering July through December. So in this video, I'll only be flipping through the January through June one. As you can see, I was using a red Leuchtturm A5. It has quite a bit of bulk to it, and you will see why as we go ahead and flip through it. So let's go ahead and open this thing up. So for this bullet journal, then I decided to name him Atlas. As for the table of contents, as you can see, I pretty much abandoned this after a little bit shortly into the year. I think this may have been the last time I even attempted to try and keep a table of contents. So the next few pages, then you will see that they are just blank. For this very first page here, then I just did this little piece of artwork of a buck with the antlers looking like trees, which it was inspired off of an image that I had seen online at the time, and I just wanted to go ahead and recreate it because I thought that it looked very interesting and very unique. Similar to my first two bullet journals, I just have a welcome page here along with a song lyric at the bottom, just the 2019 calendar overview, and then it just moves right along into the yearly spreads. So as you can see, I kept it very minimal the start of this year, just very simple with the gray Tombow dual brush pens. I think at this point then I just wanted to keep it very minimal and not put too much effort into adding a lot of color to it. And then this is just the second half of the year. Here then I went ahead and categorized my 2019 goals into a few different sections. I have a page here for my car maintenance that I just wanted to write down and keep track of when I last did something for my car. Here then I just have a bullet journal themes spread for 2019 that I really didn't use or reference that often. As you can see, it's pretty blank. And same with the gift list here. Then I initially was planning to just add like these colors and then write down like the family member's name or friend's name and then write a list of gift ideas under it, but I just never got around to that either. But I do really like this page because that year then my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, then we were going to visit my sister in California. So I went ahead and just doodled this page of things that I wanted to do when we went to go visit her. At this point then we're just moving right along into the monthly spreads. So I just made this circular doodle just to separate the yearly from the monthly spreads. And then for the month of January, then I just went ahead and did this relatively simple like party New Year's Eve theme. I used my gold Finetech watercolors to add like the shimmering metallic accents to the dress and background. So for January, then I just have my large monthly calendar here. I just have a song lyric here and then a little task box for things that I wanted to do during the month, and then just a little box for weight. Here then I tried doing something a little bit different. I wanted to switch my trackers up a little bit to see if I could find a better way to track everything. So for the top then I was attempting to track my habits. This middle section was my mood, and then this bottom section was how many hours I slept. As you can see, I only got through like the first couple of weeks of January, and then I just completely abandoned it. And I'll go ahead and explain why that was when we get to that part. Here's the page where I wanted to try and track my expenses, my bills, and paychecks. Similar to my previous bullet journal at the time, then I feel like the overall setup was very similar to what I was doing for the previous year in 2018. But as we go through the journal, then you'll see that I end up switching things up. Here then I just have my monthly doodles again, which was something that I started incorporating the last 6 months of 2018, and I just really loved the routine and the process of doing this every day, so I of course had to include it in the new year. For January then again I just kept it relatively simple aside from the metallic watercolors, but for this month then I decided to use a gray fine liner to draw in my doodles instead of my typical black Sakura Pigma microns. I just wanted to switch things up a little bit and just give it a more delicate and gentle appearance on the page. Again, similar to the previous bullet journal, then I have a brain dump page here on the right and then just like a lyric kind of more decorative page on the left here. So for the brain dump then I just wrote down some random things that were on my mind or things that I wanted to kind of plan out for a later time. And then this is the first weekly spread of 2019. I just went ahead and kept it very simple with small daily boxes along with a tasks box and a next week box. I just drew this portrait of a girl. Basically the running theme of this month was just a very glamorous party girl. So for Christmas of the previous year, for 2018, then I ended up getting I believe it was 12 new Tombow dual brush pen shades, and so I wanted to go ahead and just swatch them all out here. On the left hand side here, then I decided to do some sort of grid spacing page, and then I just did kind of like a decorative doodle spread here on the right side. Again, just featuring that same girl from the cover page, and she's basically just featured all throughout this month. Here's the second weekly spread. I just went ahead and pasted in a couple pieces of scrapbook paper just to add a little bit more visual interest and texture. Here's that same girl from the cover page. I basically wanted to do something where it's kind of like she's looking in the mirror. This is her before she gets all glammed up and everything, and then this is her after she's done her hair and makeup and everything. Here is the third weekly spread. Here's just a random hand lettering practice page. And then this is the fourth week of January. This is actually the week of my birthday, and so I went ahead and pasted in these cute little pieces of paper from a scrapbook pad that I had, and it was my golden birthday that year, and so that's also another reason why I decided to include like the gold accents throughout the month. Here then, this is where I began my journey of starting like what I call an ultimate playlist, where I basically just went through my phone and sorted my music library alphabetically based on the artist, and then I just went through and selected like my favorite songs from each artist so that I can add them into a playlist afterwards. So as we approach the end of January, then the reason why I ended up abandoning so much of like the habits and like the bills and paychecks expense tracker page was because we suddenly had to move out of our house. And so our first priority was to find a new house, which was very unfortunate just because it was the start of a new year. It was a very busy time, and it was the middle of winter, which in Minnesota, January and February are pretty much like the worst times to have to find a house and move. So it was a very stressful time, and so that's why a lot of these pages ended up not being used. And at this point then I really had to reconsider my bullet journaling process and just reconfigure things to make it more simple for me to do on a daily basis while also in the process of moving. So here on the left hand side then I just had like a tour schedule of some houses that we were looking at as possible houses that we could stay in. Here on the right hand side is just a very simple monthly favorites spread. I was really enjoying that playlist that I had mentioned. The Office was my favorite show, and pretty much is always my favorite show, really. Favorite movie was Aquaman, and favorite drink was hot cocoa. Favorite memory was my golden birthday. And then to finish off January, then I just have my monthly recap here, where I printed off pictures off of my phone from that month and then just pasted them here in my journal. Moving on to February, then I just did this very simple monochromatic forest theme, just because, like I said, I wanted to keep things very minimal. I didn't want to have to worry about a lot of color at this time. I just wanted something very simple that I could put together very quickly, since we were very busy trying to get things figured out while also still going to work. So it was very stressful, but here for my doodles, then I decided to do something different this month, which is really fun to look back on. Typically, then I have the boxes outlined, but for this month, then I decided to just leave the outlines out and kind of overlap or go outside of where the boxes would have been, just to kind of add a little bit more like a dynamic feel to the doodles. Like for instance, this one here where I'm pretty much just waiting until the following week to go on vacation. So in February, then I was going to go to Florida for vacation with my husband's family, and so I basically just drew like an outfit that I was going to be wearing, and then I just wrote down a packing list. I tried to order it based off of the days that we were there, and then just kind of looking at like the weather as well. Another weekly spread here. This was yet another image that I saw online that I wanted to try and recreate, which I think turned out really cool and very interesting. So after coming back from vacation, then I had a bunch of these stickers that I wanted to decorate some spreads with, and then also just print out pictures from the vacation, and then just kind of make like a dedication spread of our vacation for memories, similar to a scrapbook. So I just went ahead and chronologically added in the pictures and kind of just talked about our trip, what we did every day, what we ate. So yeah, I'm really happy with how these turned out. I think that they're very cute and bring back so many great memories. And then just another simple weekly spread. And then here I just did a simple doodle along with some lyrics surrounding it. And then here are my February favorites. I actually got around to making it look more colorful and a little cuter to look at. So favorites for that month, then I was really enjoying the L'Oreal Signature Matte Liquid Lipstick in I Explore. This is actually still one of my favorite products to this day. My favorite memory was parasailing with my husband, which that was the first and only time I've ever gone parasailing, which I was very terrified of at first because I'm deathly afraid of heights, but I had so much fun doing that and it was very beautiful. Another makeup favorite was the ColourPop Highlight in Flexitarian. My favorite album was Lateralis by Tool. And then my favorite drink was the Starbucks Mango Dragon Fruit Refresher. And then here is my monthly recap for February. Again, just some pictures printed out and then some little descriptions just talking about each image. So again for March, then I decided to just continue on with the monochromatic themes. So I went with this simple Starry Night theme. So from the previous month, then I ended up switching like the format of my monthly spreads. So I just completely got rid of the trackers. I made my monthly spread a little smaller to fit only on one page. I have a monthly goals section down here. And then I also decided to include the brain dump here on this page. Since my previous layout, then it was kind of just wasting pages at that point, and I just wanted to keep everything very condensed and simple at this time. Here are my March doodles. Again, I got rid of the outlines temporarily and just preferred more of this very simple and minimalistic appearance to my doodles. For a long time, then I had this very beautiful sticker that I wanted to try and find a way to incorporate into my bullet journal. So I felt like this was the perfect month to add this, and then also a lyric that accompanies that picture. Alright, so coming towards the end, then just a decorative spread here with some song lyrics, and then for my March favorites, at the time then my favorite song was Something to Believe In by Benjamin Love. My favorite drink was the Wider's Prickly Pineapple Cider, I believe it was. My favorite food find was the Pineda Tacos California Burrito. And then favorite memory, it was very bittersweet, but just leaving our old house and then being able to finally find a new one and move in. And then here is my monthly recap for March. And then moving on to April, then because we were finally moved in, then I was really missing art and adding color to my bullet journal, so I just painted this simple floral cover for April. Again, for the doodles, I did not incorporate the outlines, so for a while I was just really enjoying the very simple and minimalistic look of my doodle pages, not having the outlines to them. I decided to add a decorative spread in this month because I had these really adorable paper flowers that I got from Michael's a long time ago, and I just thought that they would be perfect to incorporate into this month. This was the week of my husband's birthday, so I wanted to just add a little decoration revolving around him. Here I just have another decorative spread where I wrote the song lyrics out and then just incorporated more of those paper flowers as well as some scrapbook paper. Alright, so approaching the end, I just painted this rose for a decorative page for my April favorites. My husband and I ended up going to California at the end of the month, so my favorite drink at the time was some bubble tea with grass jelly, going to California to visit my sister, and my favorite artist was Benjamin Love. Here is my April recap, and then moving on to May, then I did another forest theme, I suppose, but with actual color this time. Here's when I decided to bring back the outlines for the doodles, just because at this point we were getting settled into our new house. We were back home from our vacations, and I just had a little bit more time on my hands once again. So when I was initially planning out May, then I decided to leave these 2 pages blank because I wanted to dedicate it to the California trip that we went on. But then I realized that I was going to need more than 2 pages to document everything, so I just turned it into a different, decorative spread. Here then I just did a journal entry that I ended up doing that I really needed to just get things off of my mind. This was kind of an interesting spread that I did at the time. I just kind of wanted to look back at some old pictures and just kind of, I guess, reflect on how my style has changed over the years. I included a song lyric that I was really into at the time, and then just pasted in some pictures of me from high school basically, and then in college, and then post-college. And then here was where I was able to document our California trip. So I had a lot of pictures that I really wanted to paste in because it was such a fun time. We took so many pictures and we did so many things. So I did something very similar to the Florida trip where I kind of just pasted in pictures from each day chronologically and then just journaled about what we did every day, which is a lot of fun to look back on. It just makes me very excited thinking about the trip that we'll be going on at the end of October, because we'll be going back to California for my sister's wedding. So I'm very looking forward to going back, and this was one of my favorite things that we did when we went, was going to go see the sequoia trees or the big trees. I absolutely love that place, so I'm really looking forward to that. So just to finish up this little stretch of recapping the California trip, then I wanted to just add this really adorable quote from Winnie the Pooh that says, "How lucky I am to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard," which I thought was just a very fitting quote since I don't get to see my sister enough. But just moving right back into the weekly spreads to finish off May. So for my May favorites, then I had quite a few, I guess. During our California trip, then we ended up going to San Francisco, where we, for the first time, customized our own little 6-pan MAC palette, which was very exciting. We had never done that before. And then we also got to make our own custom lipstick at the Bite Beauty Lab. So that was a lot of fun and still one of my favorite lipsticks to this day. And yeah, just a couple of other favorites from that month. And then here is just my May memories. And for the final month of this bullet journal would be June. I'm pretty sure I was inspired by a painting that I saw online. And so this is basically like my attempt of it. But for the rest of the month, then I ended up doing like a mermaid or ocean inspired theme. So just a lot of very watercolory effects scattered throughout this month. Here then I just did kind of like a journal entry, and then this was actually a flower that my husband gave me when he was doing some yard work one day and he just saw a flower in our backyard. So I just put it in this Ziploc bag and taped it in here just for some memories. And so that just brings us to my June favorites here on this page. And then my June recap. So again, I had a lot of pictures that I really wanted to print out and paste into this part for memories. And then at this point, since the first half of the year was over, then I wanted to just do like a little mid-year reflection and just write down like a little journal entry about the first half of the year. A lot had happened during those 6 months. So basically the end of this journal is very random. I was just hand lettering with some of my art line markers. I'm just basically wanting to try and use up the rest of the pages and not just leave them blank, which for some reason I kind of had like an issue with at that time. Just trying to use these pages up. I can feel it. Alright, so then at the very end of my first few bullet journals, then I liked to always have like some sort of swatch list at the end of the bullet journal so that I could reference it while I'm working on my bullet journal throughout the 6 months, just to see how it would look on the paper. On this page, then I was kind of brainstorming like some new spread ideas on how I wanted to set up my weekly spreads, which I never really actually incorporated any of these, but I would say that my current iteration of my weekly spread is something like derived of these ideas, basically. Just some more random thoughts about how to better utilize my bullet journal. And then basically the last few pages here, I just went ahead and swatched out my Tombow dual brush pens, and I wanted to just analyze how frayed each of them were, because at the time then I was planning on picking up some replacements. But I actually ended up never replacing any of these, except for one that just ended up drying out on its own. But I still have all of these. I haven't gotten rid of any of the frayed ones because they still have ink to them, which is what really matters in the end. So yeah, that was my third bullet journal ever from January through June of 2019. I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I really hope that you enjoy these flip through videos. At least for me, I think that they're very interesting to just look back on and reflect on how someone started bullet journaling and just being able to see kind of like the progression and the evolution of their system. So yeah, let me know what you think of this video, if you have any questions or comments, or if you have any future video suggestions. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!